You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
I've been talking about this for a while. Seattle plans to give, actually it should be swap or trade, City Hall Park to King County in land swap after safety issues. I've been talking about this is City Hall Park. It is right next to King County Courthouse, where all the law stuff happens. King County. All of King County. Got this park, literally the southern boundary of County Courthouse. That back southern wall abuts right up to this park that has just been an utter free-for-all. Crime, you name it's gone on there. Just wildly out of control. It's gotten so bad that here's what's happening. And this is why we're covering a land swap, even though this is the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. Some would say this is somewhat it's real estate. Hey, what are you doing there? I know. I'm covering a real estate deal. We're covering a land swap because things have gotten so bad at this park that the county is like, how about we'll take over that land and we'll give you these other 13 pieces in trade. And then we're going to spin this politically like this is a great deal for everybody involved. The major issue I have is that it is an outright admission that the city of Seattle can't keep a half-acre park safe next to the courthouse. City of Seattle can't do that. Cops are spread too thin. They can't keep a half-acre park safe. So they're going to give it in a land swap to the county, whose deputies have not been defunded. Hey now, what happened there? What about that whole defunding the police thing? We've still got this ongoing narrative of defunding the police being a good idea, and yet we are actively doing a land swap after safety issues. We're going to talk about some of those. What are the safety issues that have happened at City Hall Park? We're going to find out here in just a second. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies. I own a real estate brokerage. I own a real estate appraisal company. I come from an appraisal and brokerage background. I read the news from that perspective, which some say is reasonable. What are we doing here? Don't know. You're going to have to just pay attention and see what we got going on. The transaction agreement now moves to Seattle City Council and King County Council for final approval. If the Seattle City Council vetoes this down for some reason, I'm going to scream. I'm literally going to scream on the podcast. They won't. They'll make it go because they're being told, this is a good idea, because it kind of gets us out of that whole reason that this city isn't safe is because we defunded the police and we made it a place where cops don't want to be cops in Seattle. How many 100 cops have left? Like 300 something? City of Seattle and King County have reached a land swap agreement to transfer ownership of City Hall Park to the county in exchange for 13 properties. I've been following this a while and I've been talking about this for a while, but it kind of just dawned on me and it didn't really make sense until I heard Reagan Dunn. He's one of the board members of King County Council. And he's like, well, he was asked, I think it was him, or maybe it was Dow Constantine. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Reagan Dunn. He was asked, well, how come you're going to be able to do better things? What's your game plan here that's going to keep City Hall Park safe? And he's like, well, we've got more cops. We've got more officers that are going to be able to respond. And it's like, all right. So we are totally admitting City of Seattle can't keep a half-acre park safe next to the courthouse. That's literally what we're coming right out and saying. And we're doing it in a very public land swap, but we're politically, this is going to be great for everybody. It's kind of like, when your parents punish you and they say, I'm doing this because I love you. And you're like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like love, huh? And for the betterment of mankind, we're going to do this land swap and everybody's going to be better. Well, we wouldn't have to be doing this land swap if the city of Seattle hadn't defunded the police and made it such an environment where we're low on cops. We'd actually be able to keep the City Hall Park safe. We'd have resources to keep that park safe to the point where dozens of judges don't need to write a letter saying, hey, it's unsafe. Where jurors are unsafe, they don't feel safe going in to do their jury duty. Where you can watch from the courthouse people walking up and down the street with cars parked opening up doors just to see what's inside. All kinds of crime happening at the park. You name it. Massive homeless encampment. Oh, we just let it go because we're progressive here in Seattle, and that's how we handle things in a very progressive manner. And when you do that, parks just explode with all kinds of whatnot. And now we need the county to kind of reel it back in. They've cleared this park out. But in order to keep it safe, in order to keep the courthouse safe, in order to keep the courthouse there, the county is basically saying, yeah, we're going to take this bad boy over. How come? Well, we've got more officers. We're going to be able to handle it. Like, oh, all right. That's pretty straightforward. Even I can understand that one. Interesting. What's that say about Seattle, City of Seattle and their whole defund the police movement thing? How'd that work out? You're doing a land swap because you can't keep a half-acre park safe. Interesting. On Friday, King County Executive Dow Constantine's office announced the agreement with Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan in a release. The land swap will give King County the half-acre park, allowing it to complete its downtown Civic Campus. See how it's spun? This is a good thing for everybody. In exchange for a total of 1.35 acres of land across the Seattle area. All right, we got it. Well, this is an important park. So what's the swap going to be like? Well, we're going to give you all these little dinker properties that don't really amount to much, but combined, it's going to be good for everybody. The release states that 13 properties in the city will acquire. Will help it reach its goal to expand and protect green space and public parkland. Well, I don't think you should give any space to the city of Seattle because they allow green space, protected green space and public parkland to become overrun with homeless encampments. So I don't think they should get any. That's just my thought. But, that's not a popular thought here. The agreement follows years of safety concerns surrounding City Hall Park, which is adjacent to the King County Superior Courthouse. Concerns reached a fever pitch last summer after a woman was allegedly sexually assaulted inside a courthouse bathroom, and a homeless encampment at the park continued to have issues. Covered that one here in the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. You can find that. It's been a lawless half-acre parcel. Just brutal. The assault and continued complaints from courthouse staff led to workers holding a rally and pleading with county and city leaders to up security and do something about the park. I'm not sure if we read about it here, but literally there are safety officers now that will escort people, not from both exits and entrances to the courthouse, because one got shut down because they had so many incidences with the homeless encampment. There's only one ingress, egress. And so King County will send out basically a guard, a security person with groups of people walking to their cars so that they can get home safely. Yeah, that's what they're doing. It's gotten that dangerous. And this is without all of the people at the homeless encampment in the park. They've been cleared out. It's just fenced up right now. The assault and continued complaints from courthouse staff led to workers holding a rally and pleading with county and city leaders to up security and do something about the park. Following a deadly stabbing in June, King County Council member Reagan Dunn proposed condemning the park. When I saw this, I was like, what's the angle here? Why are we condemning the park? Why? Because the King County's trying to get control of it. They've got the courthouse. They can manage that. They can't manage the Seattle city-owned park next door because it's not their land. They can't just go on there and clear people out like they're going to, and they've committed to doing so. Then in August, following July's assault and rally, Councilmember Jean Nicole Wells introduced legislation for the county to take over the park as the encampment was cleared by the city. I'm all for this. There's an entity out there that can keep things safe for people, for workers, for judges, for bailiffs, for security people, all those people it takes to run the courthouse. I'm in favor of it. We could have purchased the park, but it seemed like a land swap would be the best arrangement. That makes total sense to me. As for why the county would provide the better safety than if the park was under city jurisdiction, council members alluded to more control over security, considering the park's proximity to the county courthouse, as well as a better staffed sheriff's office. That's what this damn headline should read. Due to defund the police, City of Seattle giving up a park it can't control to the county who hasn't defunded the police and has adequate number of officers to keep said county properties safe. Well, there's that. But that's a reasonable approach. Nobody wants to do that. That would not go over politically very well at all, would it? Hey, you said the truth. You said that stuff out loud that you're supposed to whisper. Because look at how they put this, as well as a better staffed sheriff's office. Are you saying that the Seattle Police Department is not adequately staffed right now on a public forum? I think we are. It's just buried in the footnotes, right? Don't say that out loud. Oh. In an interview with King 5, Dunn said that the King County I think it was Reagan Dunn. Dunn said the King County Sheriff's Office would have jurisdiction over the park once the county takes over, and in comparison to the Seattle Police Department, would be better equipped to aid in public safety. In other words, Seattle Police Department spread too thin, defunding the police didn't work out, and in fact had the opposite effect. You've got park areas that are overrun with just craziness. I mean, I don't even need to tell you what they're overrun with. You can imagine. And we've talked about it before. Seattle Police Department, who now have lost 325 police officers in the city of Seattle, with a huge increase in crime as a result of that, just aren't in a position, unwilling or able, whatever it is, to do the enforcement necessary to keep it safe, Dunn said. I think they are willing. I think the cops want to do their jobs. There's just only so much the remainder of officers that are left can do, right? You're spread thin. I love it when these politicians come out and say, we've got a game plan. It's everybody works double overtime 7 days a week. And then they have these happy smiles and you're like, hey, wait a minute. I run a business and you got to give people time off because otherwise they end up being pretty jittery on the job. And if that includes handling, I don't know, a firearm at times, because that's part of your job, that is probably not the best solution. Let's just work these people into the ground, and that's our game plan. Yeah, we're bringing everybody in off their weekend breaks. We're bringing everybody in off their shifts. No more their downtime in between shifts. No more vacations. No more time off. Everybody's working. That's our solution. That is literally their solution to the Seattle Police Department being understaffed for some of these events. They come right out and say it. And you're like, okay, how long-term of a solution is that? Because my guys do real estate and they need a break every now and then. And they're not out putting themselves in between the public and the bad guys and bad girls. Let's not be sexist. Crime is an equal opportunity deal. So yeah, there's that. And so you're like, okay, we are literally doing a land swap because Seattle Police Department doesn't have enough cops. That's the bottom line. And yet you're not going to hear much about that, are you? No, that's not. Don't say that out loud. You're saying the quiet part out loud. I love that. It's like, hey, you weren't supposed to say that. Among other properties, Seattle will receive a 0.4 acre lot. Let's talk about, if you're not familiar with how big an acre is, it's 43,560 square feet, 43,560. This park here is 0.56 acres. So like 20, I don't know, is that 25,000 square feet, 26,000 square feet, something like that. If you don't know what 26,000 square feet looks like, and that's a lot. I mean, it's not a lot as in big measure. It is as in it is a building lot. That's what I'm describing, a 26,000 square foot lot. Half acre, that's pretty big for like a residential lot. Most standard lots in Seattle are 5,000 square feet. So maybe 50 by 100, something like that. Half acre, it's, several residential building lots. Let's put it that way. Several urban-ish, a couple of residential suburban lots, maybe 3 or 4 inner city urban lots, something like that, maybe 5. It's not a huge site by any means. It's just that it got overrun so hard with homeless encampment and everything that brought in and its location in downtown Seattle Seattle City Police just couldn't control it. It was just off the hook. King County and members of the King County Council have committed to ensuring the safety and vibrancy of City Hall Park for years to come. So the city of Seattle is eager to support the county's investments and vision towards the park and campus, Durkan said in a statement. Seattle hopes to use the land to further its Duwamish Valley Action Plan and add to the future of the South Park Plaza and create additional community access and green space, according to the release. The city also said the 13 properties will be used as gathering spaces, expand waterfront access, offer recreational programming, and add to the Burke-Gilman Greenway in the Chelsea neighborhood. Transaction agreement was transmitted to the King County Council and Seattle City Council for approval. Man, really? You had to do a land swap to make a park safe? That's got to be a first. That has got to be a first across the United States. I don't care what you say. This is what we're doing in Seattle. Land swap because we defunded the police. Interesting. Well, maybe that kind of gives you an idea how ineffective the whole defund the police was. We reimagined, we rethought, we have fewer cops. What happens with something as basic as a city park next to a King County Courthouse? What happens to the safety factor there when you don't have enough cops? This is just a park. This is not people's homes. People were living there illegally. But what happens to the safety factor? Well, it gets bad enough where you do a land swap so you can have a different governmental entity come in who you didn't defund and take over. Going to have to reimagine and rethink that whole defund the police thing, because right now I'm thinking it's maybe not. Maybe it's not a good idea. I don't know. And politically, yeah, it seems like that narrative is kind of fallen by the wayside, hasn't it? I mean, it seems like reasonable people up front were like, oh, yeah, that whole defund the police thing. Even the mayor of Seattle, was just harped on by these crazy protesters. Defund the police by 50% now. How'd that work out for you? How'd that work out for you in the latest elections? How's that going? How is that narrative going? You still going down that road? You might want to reimagine and rethink that, because we've kind of got empirical evidence here in Seattle, King County. We would like to do a land swap that's going to benefit everybody, and look at all these properties that we're mixing around here. But, off the record and in the quiet voice, yeah, Seattle City can't keep it safe. King County, it probably can. It's got more police officers. It's got more officers. Got more deputies. All right, King County, can you drop the hammer and make this safe? Let's find out. It's your building, King County Courthouse. It's your building. Let's see what you can do with the park next door. All right, that's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. And I hope you have the best Thanksgiving, whether you've already had it, you're having it, you're going to have it, whatever those things are. I hope you have a great time. I'll be down in Oklahoma City doing my thing. If I already said this already, sorry. Yeah, it's just what we're doing. Thanks again for being here. We'll catch up soon. Gobble, gobble. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.